Hello and welcome to Mr. Chance Henry's history class, and today I'm going to do a story for y'all, and I am doing the story of Achilles. So, quick summary, Achilles was from Greek mythology, an ancient hero for them. And when he was born to his mother, who was a demigod, a nymph, Thetis, and a king, Myrmidons. And before he was born, it was actually predicted that Achilles would die a young death, so he wouldn't live a long life. And his mother, Thetis, wanting Achilles to live a long life and live for a while, took him to the river Styx. Now, the river Styx was an ancient river in the underworld, and what legend says is Thetis stuck Achilles into the water and held him there. And she held him by his ankle, hence the term Achilles' heel. And she held him there, and while she put him in the water, it gave him great strength. It turned him into an amazing warrior, an amazing fighter, and it made him virtually invulnerable to any weapon. He could dodge pretty much any weapon. If something hit him, it would bounce off, except his ankle, because his mother held him up. So he could get hit there. And after his mother put him in the river, he obviously became powerful. He got his powers. He was able to drink the drinks of the gods, and he was also able to eat the food of the gods, nectar and ambrosia, nectar being the drink and ambrosia being the food. And in how he lived his legend was pretty much the legend of Achilles was spread all throughout Greek mythology. He slayed monsters. He was the best warrior known by man. He's the best warrior known in history by the Greeks. And then came the Battle of Troy. Achilles was easily his respective army's best fighter, and he originally didn't want to fight in the Battle of Troy, actually. He was upset with his superior officers using him, and he didn't like that, so him and his men actually held out from that fight. And on the other side, Troy, they had a fighter named Hector, and Hector was known as their best fighter, great hero, best fighter they had, and there was always like an argument between the two sides, who is better, Achilles or Hector. Well, as Achilles sets out in his war, he doesn't fight. The fighting goes on. Hector fights for his side, and Achilles is out for his. And it's been a couple different versions of this story, but one that I repeatedly see is that Achilles' cousin wants to fight, but he's too young, and Achilles has been training him. Well, that being said, Achilles' cousin takes Achilles' armor, and he looks so much like Achilles that Achilles' own men followed his cousin, who is pretending to be Achilles, into battle. And his cousin meets Hector in the battlefield and is ultimately slain by Hector. And Hector, not knowing who this person was, he assumes that it's Achilles. It's like, I've killed Achilles, the greatest warrior of your side has fallen. Well, when they go to take off the mask, they learn that it is his cousin, and Achilles' men, saddened, go back to Achilles and tell him that his cousin has fallen in battle by Hector, that he took his armor, that they followed him, that they actually thought it was Achilles. And Achilles, upon hearing this, is just completely enraged, and he pretty much goes to Troy and demands a one-on-one fight with Hector that he gets. He ends up slaying Hector in a very close battle, but really Achilles, with his rage, was able to defeat Hector and kind of disgraced his name and thrown his body around and pretty much defeated him easily. And continuing on with the Battle of Troy, how Achilles was ultimately defeated was he was in Troy when his side was able to ransack the city through the horse. I'm sure we've all heard of the Roman horse that was able to get Troy. And as he was in the city, he was shot by Paris, who I believe was the brother of Hector, or cousin. I'm pretty sure it was brother. And he was shot by Paris a couple times in like the torso area, which didn't really affect him, and he kind of broke those arrows off and continued fighting. But as we come to learn, he was shot in the ankle, and he was actually shot in his heel, and that was his one vulnerable spot given from legend, and that is how we come to know the Achilles heel on our bodies, and that is the story of Achilles. A quick summary of his life and the battle with Troy and how he died.